But hi, everyone. Thanks for having me. My name's Marie. I'm the training manager for Prospect Software, which is the company behind MLS-Touch. And I'm excited to show you several ways of getting the most out of your MLS-Touch app today. The workshop was designed for you to follow along during specific segments. So make sure to have your mobile phone or a mobile device, if it's not your cell phone, with you to be ready to experience firsthand what your mobile MLS has to offer. And at any time, I'm gonna show you and ask you to follow along. You'll see this little sticky note pop up. I just want to make sure that I don't lose you because it's not time yet. So keep your eyes on my screen until you see that sticky note. And when you see that sticky note, that means I'll be guiding you through the process of experiencing firsthand what I'm talking about. So thanks in advance for keeping an eye on that and following along properly. So by the way, MLS-Touch, it is a free member benefit, compliments of the High Central MLS. So you get this without having to spend any extra penny, and it's available to download at any time. So right now, either through the App Store if you have an Apple device, or the Play Store if you have an Android device. So if you did not download it yet, that's your last chance to be able to follow along. So pull up your app store, look up MLS-Touch. It should be easily recognizable. Look at all like our color theme, our logo. And when you launch the app the first time, you will be asked to log in. And it's very simple. Just use your matrix login information to access MLS-Touch. So it's easy peasy, right? No need to sign up or create an account or have another set of username and passwords to remember. It can be easily accessed. Again, free download through the App Store. Then you launch the app, you log in with your matrix login information. And you know what? Let me ask you this. Do you guys have MLS-Touch installed at this point? Either on your smartphone, your tablet, or maybe both? Let us know through the chat box or the question box. You have the means of interacting with us, and I'd really like to hear from you guys just to make sure that we're going at a correct pace and that you're following along. And I'm also just curious to know if you guys have it installed already. And okay, a lot of you are responding at this point already. Thank you. So to give a chance to those of you who are currently installing the app, because I know some of you may not necessarily know that was required, right, to take on this workshop. And also knowing that some of you don't necessarily know what MLS-Touch is all about, I'd like to take a few moments to get that out of the way. So let's talk about MLS-Touch just a little bit. So MLS-Touch, it was specifically designed for real estate professionals like you. And I point this out because it's part of what makes MLS-Touch different from any other app out there that you have access to. Your business and our brand, sorry, not our brand, your business and your brand are what's important to us. And you'll see that reflected through the app. The other thing I want to point out, and you'll see this during this workshop, is that MLS-Touch is really the mobile extension to Matrix. It is your mobile MLS, which means you can access all the same data, just like you can in Matrix. So your listing data, tax data, your contacts, because they're synced with Matrix, so you're not starting from scratch. Your contacts are there, which makes it easy, right, to send out listings on the go from, by email or by text message from your smartphone or tablet. So it's really there to make your life easier, right? And keep you fully connected with your MLS and with your client's information, which can be useful. Okay. I think that sums up what MLS-Touch is about. And hopefully I gave you guys enough time to install the app, because now I want to get started. Yes, you do need to download and then sign in. Okay, make sure you do that if you want to follow along. But I do want to get started. And well, as your mobile MLS, well, first off, MLS-Touch has several amazing search functionalities available straight from its home screen. Let me actually pull up my phone in a second. One of these really cool functionalities, and it's the most popular of MLS-Touch, is the Instaview feature. If some of you already tried that feature out, I do want to point it out, even if it's an easy feature to use, because it can potentially help you on a regular basis. Just get to the information you're looking for. What does Instaview actually do? Well, it lets you pull the listing details of the property, not just a property, any active property that's nearby as soon as you press on its Instaview button. So if you are in front of a property, or the property is a few doors down or across the street, all you have to do is point your device. I'm actually going to pull my phone here, so it's still hooked up. So you take your device, you pull up MLS-Touch, you point your device, you press the Instaview button, and boom, the listing details will pop up if the property is active on the MLS. That's pretty cool, right? So that means that if you're about to walk into a property to show it and you need to look up a few details just before you head in, or if you want to contact a listing agent because you're waiting in front of the house and there's no sign of them or anything like that, that will give you the means of instantly getting, again, to the info you're looking for. And if you're in front of a building with several units available, they'll be all pulled up. That means that, let's say if you're in front of a condo building like the one I'm showing on screen right now, and there's like a few units for sale, you'll know instantly, even if there was only one sign for the building, right? Or you knew of one listing, which can potentially be super convenient. And it works every single time, as long as you're in range, which is 400 feet. That's plenty, right? A few doors down, even around the block, that you should be able to pull it up. And as long as it's active on the MLS. You know what? Can you guys try it out? Obviously, you need to be near a listing right now for it to work, right? So if for whatever reason, it doesn't work, it tells you there's no available listing, it's most likely because there's none in range, active anyways. So if that's the case for you right now, like it is for me, because I'm actually talking to you from the East Coast, north of the border. So I'm definitely thousands of miles away from the closest high central MLS listing. Well, then try it out next time you're out and about and you come across a listing. You'll see it's pretty amazing. So that's the first feature I wanted to talk to you about, because again, it makes it so easy to find the properties you're looking for. So there's no pictures to take or something to punch in. It's just instantaneous. The other feature that I want to talk about, which is about searching efficiently for what you're looking for through the MLS, is completely new. That's what Mike was hinting about at the beginning of the meeting. We sort of kept it on the down low. I don't want to say specifically because I wanted to give you the surprise today, but let me explain what it's about. I think you're going to like it. So it's called the Smart Search, and it's called the Smart Search because it does a lot. So this Smart Search, and this time I'm definitely going to show you on my own smartphone, because I will be able to demonstrate. So, oh, and by the way, I know we're getting a lot of questions. So keep in mind that, the MLS-Touch will work as long as you're in an area that's covered by the High Central MLS. So if you're trying to use Instaview because you're on vacation in Florida, I doubt there's a lot of High Central listings in Florida. Am I correct?
Sure. So this is Michael again. So it'll work on the island of Oahu and Molokai. Of course, the service area that High Central has, and then any reciprocal listings, right, from our friends on the Big Island, or if you are listing properties on the Big Island. But this is not your national app, right? If you want that, I believe RPR was on yesterday, and they have an excellent product as well. But it's kind of for a completely different purpose, right? So I think that use case, as we say, is completely different than all the cool stuff that Marie's going to show you now. Does that make sense? Hope that helps.
Indeed. Thank you for chiming in, Mike. I know you're in a better position than I am to talk about what partakes specifically to your MLS. Thank you. Feel free to intervene again if there's questions that I'm not
I'm
necessarily
here.
able to answer.
Lurking
So
in the
thank you so
background,
much.
watching and learning with everybody else.
Perfect. Okay, so going back to the smart search, that's the new stuff that I have to talk to you about during this workshop. It can be found. So now you see my my device, I hope. So it can be found in two different ways. You can access the smart search by the search button that's now available at the bottom of the home screen. See, there's a little search button at the bottom. Or you can also just access it through the map search, which is what I'm going to do. I usually always do it that way because I'm used to relying on my map search mainly to look at properties if I'm not doing a search by criteria. And what this smart search allows you to do, it basically allows you to find listings quickly and efficiently on the map in various ways, such as by neighborhood, by region, or even by a partial address of a specific listing. You know what? Let me pull up the little Post-it note. Let's try it out together. Do you guys see, are you guys all either on the map search with the search bar? Please note, and I'm going to elaborate a little bit because some of you say they don't see it. Please note that you need to make sure you have MLS-Touch up to date. That means that if you didn't update, you had it installed already and you didn't go update it recently, it's possible you won't have access to this smart search. If so, yeah, because or some of you like Judy, Malaya, is that possible? No matter what, you know what? Keep an eye on my screen if you don't see it on your device, and maybe we can figure it out at the end, or maybe I can point you to our support team if need be. Right.
So Marie, your phone on the screen is showing black right now.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Let me just try to pull it back. Here, let me just force it. There you go, map search. Are you guys seeing it updated?
Not yet.
Let me just stop my share and reshare because it's definitely looking good on my end.
We saw it work earlier.
Yeah, let me just do this again. How about now?
Nope.
Okay, let me close my screen. Technology. Thank you for bearing with me, guys. I'm just going to just reboot my screen share real quick for you guys.
I was having technical problems earlier, and I was blaming solar flares. That's my go-to.
I'd rather not, but let's see if that works.
Doing that, let me just point out one thing that she touched on briefly. That's the neighborhoods, right? So we're working pretty diligently with prospects in MLS-Touch to get our neighborhoods loaded in. And so now that's a recent improvement. If you looked before and you didn't see it, we're still having problems seeing your device. But if you had looked before and we're kind of wondering where those were, we've been able to, as a team, get those back up and working. So we're pleased with that. But yeah, this is my go-to device when I'm out and about. And I know I'm not a practicing realtor, but when people ask me, the moment a realtor hears what I do, they ask me, what's new and what's great. And this is my go-to app. I always talk about this. And we can see your screen now, right?
Yeah, unfortunately though, can you guys hear me? Hopefully you can.
Yes,
unfortunately, it looks like it can only share a screen, like a window, not my whole screen. I think that's the problem. So you guys could either see my PowerPoint or my device. So I think you only see my device at this point, if I am not mistaken. So forget about the sticky note. We're just going to go with my device just to make sure that you guys actually see what I'm talking about. So, okay, so now we're seeing the smart search bar, at least on my screen, hopefully, right? I went through, just to quickly recap, I either went through the search button that's at the bottom completely, or the map search, which led me to this screen here with the search bar that you can find at the top, which we call the smart search. And like I've mentioned, this is available on both Android and Apple devices, and it allows you to search by MLS data or by a point of interest. So for instance, if I want to search by a neighborhood, let's say Kaoko, I can just type Oh, and even if I don't type the whole thing, and I think I just did a typo here. Obviously, typos matter. See, it's populating search results, including the neighborhood or specific locations, points of interest. So here I could just select a neighborhood, launch my search, and it will immediately center my map there. I could do that by region if I want. So let me just go back to that smart search bar, get rid of Kakaoko, but do leeward instead. Maybe I'm with somebody that's interested in that general area. Again, this is just a means of jumping on the map to a specific location without having to swipe or zoom in, zoom out, just jump directly to that area versus having to mess around with the map, right? Zoom in, zoom out, like you used to have to with the map search in general. It allows you to also do a search by partial address. Let me just show you here. Let's say I'm going to just type 844, which is, let's say, the first few numbers of the street number of a listing. And see right away all the listings that match in part or in full that street number are pulled up. And here I was looking for the property on by the way, I'm going to butcher names of streets and locations. So thank you for bearing with me, everybody.
No, we expect you to.
Okay, so just
the debate internally here.
Okay, so you just press on the listing you were looking for, if that's what you were looking for when you typed this in, and again, boom, you land on what you want immediately, right? A lot easier than using the advanced search or manually trying to locate that specific spot on the map yourself by zooming in or zooming out. However, it doesn't stop there. Like I've mentioned, the most exciting and useful way of using this feature is when it comes to points of interest. And when I talk about points of interest, let me give you an example. Maybe I'm with a buyer looking for a home near the Moana Lua Medical Center. I think it's a Pfizer, because let's say they're going to start working there shortly. That's why they want to move near that area. Well, again, just punch in the smart search bar what you're looking for. So in this case, Moana Lua, here you go. And I'm going to have to just be a bit more specific. Medical, here you go. It's a Kaiser Permanente Medical Center. So I just press it under jump to a location. Those are all the points of interests that are pulled either by Google or Apple Maps. So you can pull up any point of interest as long as you can find them on Google Map for Android or on Apple Maps on Apple devices. So here I'm going to just press and it should jump on the location. Yes, Eddie, you wanted to say something, or was it Michael?
I'm sorry, that was me, Marie. We have a question in the chat. I just want you to be aware of when you can address it when you can. The Instaview, how that works a little bit better at some point. Jean Emmanuel said that no pictures come up when he searches, and when I search, I see the two listings that are closest to me, and I think that's the intent of it. But maybe you can come back and touch on that a little bit later.
So yes, if you guys want, I'll revisit Instaview. I'll actually note it down so that we revisit Instaview a little bit later, just because I want to keep going with points of interest here. But thank you for pointing it out. I appreciate it. So, and of course, after you've jumped to the location you were searching for, no matter if it's for your own sake because you wanted to see what was going on in that area, or if it was just to be able to point out to the buyer you were with what's available at the moment that could be a good fit. Don't forget you can always zoom in, move the map around a little bit more. Like in this case, I was maybe a bit too zoomed in. And with the filters button that's in the top right corner, you could take advantage of all the search parameters that your MLS-Touch app has to offer, which will match with your matrix set of criteria, because we use the same labeling just to make sure that they're familiar familiar and that you can execute these searches and narrow down your searches and not have to rethink or relearn how to go about it. Like in this case, maybe I was with a buyer that was looking for a 2-bedroom place, and let's say we're not interested in pending, so listings that had a pending offer or were under contract. And then I'll launch my search again to clean up the map and only keep on screen what could potentially really be a good fit. So that's the beauty of the smart search that you now have access to through the map search, or directly from the home screen, like I mentioned, with the help of that search button completely at the bottom. So there you go. Yes, that's all I needed to, all I wanted to talk about when it comes to the most interesting and popular and fun features that you can use to find the info you're looking for. But by the way, a point of interest, just for those of you who are asking, it could be a school, a transit station, a workplace, or a shop. Again, as long as they can be found on Google Maps and or Apple Maps, it should work. Okay, next thing I want to talk about, and unfortunately I won't have access to my slides anymore, so thank you for bearing with me. But the next thing I want to talk about is Realist Tax Data. Because as some of you may already know, you do have access to the Realist Tax Data of any listing. And you can have access to it easily just by looking up the listing. You know what, let me just pull back up my map search, and I'll just press on one of these pins here that represents a listing, just so that you guys can view. No, let me actually do this here. I'll pull up one of my favorites because that's a better example. I'll pull up this one here. So there. So this is what a listing looks like for those of you who are not aware. And through the listing details, if you scroll, you do have access to the Realist Tax Data information as easily as you can through Realist directly, right? So you just press on that button and it will pull the tax data that you have access to on that property, which will include a lot of valuable details, including the sales score indicator, which you guys already are potentially familiar with. But something that you don't know is that we've recently added to the map search functionality that gives you the means of seeing more Realist tax data. And more specifically, through the map search, you now have access to parcel lines, and you can pull up the Realist details of any property, not just the ones that are active or that are on the MLS per se. So again, do you guys want to follow along with me? So let's go back to our home screen like I just did, and then let's go through the map search because that's where it's at yet again. And hold on a second. I just want to get rid of this listing here. And just to have a good example and so that we see the same thing, right? Let's use the smart search to jump to a specific listing. Let's do, I have this one, 1540 again, thank you for bearing with me. I'm sure I'm butchering this. Oh, and I'm making typos. No good. Okay, there you go. Oloa loop. Let's just choose that one, and I'll press on it to jump straight to it. So I encourage you guys to do the same. So and then just because we're really zoomed in on this one, let's just zoom out a little bit. I'm going to ask you to do the same as me. Just use your fingers with the pinching motion to zoom out until, did you see what happened when I zoomed out just a little bit? Until the parcel lines show up. Did that happen to everybody? Hopefully it did. So that's what's new also with MLS-Touch. You now can see the parcel lines of any area, again, covered by your MLS. And what's really great is that, well, first of all, maybe just seeing the parcel lines like this is not super useful, right? But I know some of you are saying they're widely inaccurate, but still, it can still somewhat give you a general idea and can potentially, by just observing just and not just this with this view, but with the satellite view of the map search, you can potentially observe details that you wouldn't necessarily be able to pick up on in any other way, right? Because they're not necessarily in the listing details or displayed in the photo album, etc. I'm going to encourage you guys to switch to the satellite view on Apple devices. Just press on that little, this little button that looks like a circle with an eye in it. If you're on Android, it's in the upper right corner of your map. And I think it just looks like 3 little slates on top of each other. I don't know if I'm describing it clearly enough for Android device users, but when you press on that button, then you'll have the means of switching to the satellite view. And that's where it can potentially be super useful, right? Again, even if the parcel lines are not necessarily accurate. Some of you were giving us these comments. What it can allow you to observe is, well, is there a sidewalk on that street? How close is this property from its neighbors? Where's the garage or the driveway located? What does it look like? Where's the shed located based on the property lines? Are there any trees on the property, right? Of course, this is based on the most up-to-date satellite view of either Google Maps or Apple Maps, but still, it can still give us an idea, especially if, and I don't know in Hawaii if COVID has hit you and has made you change the way of doing things, but if buyers are a bit more hesitating to go see the property right away, and you don't necessarily want to go out about either yourself to expose yourself, you may be able to pull info from this app with the help of these extra little details that you have access to. But that's not all. And I'm just going to switch back to the map view because I like the clearer lines. I like to see the lines here just to demonstrate the rest. But on top of being able to see the parcel lines, what you can also do is pull up the tax data of any property. Not just the ones that are on the market, because for instance, if I press within the parcel lines of the property which we pulled the listing of, right, where the little blue pin is, well, yes, it's going to just pull me the same little panel that shows me the Realist Tax Data, as you'll be able to see. But if you tap on any within any other parcel lines, even if there's no pin on it, you'll still be able to pull the same valuable details if available on the Realist database. So if the property you pulled the data of is on the market, you'll even see its photo if there's one available and the link to view the listing details. And if it's not a listing and you press within the parcel lines, well, you'll see at least the tax data. So that's one more asset in your tool belt to know more about the market as well as any property out there in a flash. And just to quickly recap, all of this is possible with the help of the map search, right? The map search, its smart search bar, and now the extra details that it displays. So those are the cool new features that you now have access to straight from MLS-Touch. Okay, oh, hi, Jennifer. Did you want to say something?
Yeah, sorry. It looks like Terry Yamamoto was just asking if they are able to send a listing to a client by text.
Yes, actually, in a little bit, we're going to do that together. So thanks for bearing with me, Terry. Hopefully you can stick around or you'll watch the recording later. If you can't, we'll cover that for sure. Okay, but next what I want to do is move on to, and I'm just going to go back to the home screen. Let's always go back to the home screen when we're sort of changing topics here. I want to sort of segue. Well, we talked a little bit about getting to know more about the market, right? With the smart search and the map search. Well, the MLS-Touch also provides you with additional key features to help you be your client's local market expert. And the obvious one is the hot sheet feature. This one is not new. You guys have had it since day one with MLS-Touch, but maybe some of you are not taking advantage of it. So I'd like us to try it out together. And if you already have it set up, well, let's just discuss it a little bit more in detail together. So the hot sheet feature, it's represented by that big hot sheet button, the gray button in the bottom right. And this feature, with one quick tap, it gives you a snapshot of the market activities for the last 5 days. Basically, with this feature, you'll have your finger on the pulse of the market within the areas of your choice. The first time you press on the button, you'll be prompted to choose which areas you want to keep an eye on immediately. So in my case, when I press the hot sheet button, let me just show you what happens. I already have it set up. It just gives me a summary real quick of what happened. So in this case, in the last 5 days, in the areas I'm interested in, there's been 26 new listings, 3 price reductions, and 22 sold. You know what, let's try it out together. You guys press on the hot sheet button. And in my case, let me just go ahead and force MLS-Touch to just pretend like I've never done this before. I'll press my configure button, and this is basically what you'll land on the first time you press on the hot sheet button. It's going to tell you need to pick the areas you want to keep an eye on, and then it will show you the list of areas. So with your with the terminology I think you guys use is region, right? So you'll have to pick which region you want to keep an eye on. So in my case, I want to keep an eye on Leeward. Let's say that's my farm area. That's the main area I want to know about. So I'll just press on the area, and you can select up to 10 in total if you'd like. And when your selection is made, just press the next button, and then boom, instantly it will show you, as you can see, well, the market activities, just a summary of the market activities. And let's say that we're interested in knowing, let's all look at the new listings for the area we picked. Hopefully everybody's following along. So here you go, here are the search results. And like anytime we're looking at search results in MLS-Touch, we'll be able to sort these results with the sort by button. We'll be able to filter these results to narrow it down, right, to a property type or a number of bedrooms, whatever we want with the filters. And we can take action with the action menu, which is that button that looks like 3 little circles lined up vertically. It's in the top right corner. So press that button and you'll see all the actions you can take. And there's plenty. You can definitely send them by email to someone or by text message. With Terry, you already have a hint. We're not yet going to do it together, but you already have a hint of how to do it, right? Pull up your search results in whatever way you want, no matter if it's through the hot sheet or a different search. And through the action menu, you'll have the means to do so. Or you could add it to a cart or add it to your favorites, which is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to encourage you guys to add a property to your favorites like I'm about to do, because later on we'll use that listing for another exercise. So I have an exercise, a future exercise in mind, and I definitely want us to be able to pull a listing quickly from the home screen. So that's the best way to go about it. So, and I do encourage you, if you ever pull up your hot sheet and you're seeing a property that just dropped price that you want to keep an eye on, or that just got added to the market, add it to your own favorites, right? When you choose which action you want to use, then you're invited to select which listing you want to take this action on. So in my case, I'm just going to pick a couple of properties for sale here. As long as your selection is darkened on Android, you won't see that little check mark, but you'll see that your results are being darkened, and then you can press on done. If some of you don't see if some of you don't see the same results, it may be because either you filtered or you didn't choose the same area. It's based on the area that you chose. So there you go. So, and that's how you can set up your hot sheet and then look at the results and take action on those results if you want. But what if you want to keep an eye on a more niche market, right? Because this basically just shows us, like in my case, it shows me everything that's new, everything that dropped price, or everything that sold recently in Leeward, right? But maybe I'm in the condo business and only condos are what I'm interested in, right? Or maybe I'm even more specific, maybe 2-bedroom condos. That's what I want to know. Well, you always have the means, like I've hinted at a few moments ago, when you're looking at, let's say, your list of the results for new listings in those areas, you can press the filter button and use the search parameters that we've already seen together so far to be able to narrow it down, right? I could narrow it down to 2-bedroom and only condos, let's say, right? And then launch my search to clean up the list and only keep on screen what actually matters. However, let me just finish my thought. However, these filters don't stick around. Every time you leave your hot sheet and come back, you'll have to filter those results again. Your filters won't stick. I have a workaround for you guys though, because maybe some of you do want to be able to, for instance, pull up all the condos, 2-bedroom condos in Kakaoko, right? It could be something you want to do, and you want to do it easily and quickly. So I do have a workaround for that. But before I cover it, I think, is that you, Ed, or Michael, that had something to say?
So
Yeah, go
that's the
ahead.
question that's in the chat, Maria, and that's
Oh,
what
is
I was
it?
hoping you could address is, hey, I only want to see for sale properties. I don't care
Okay.
about rentals, and I, blah, 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 blah. And then some people only care
Exactly.
about rentals, right?
I understand that. So of course there's always a filter to filter. You saw me use, did you see me use it real quick? Yeah, I did use it real quick, right? To filter my hot sheet. But like I told you guys, that one doesn't
Right.
necessarily stick around. If you want to create your own niche hot sheet and have several niche hot sheet, so specific hot sheets, right, where you can narrow it down as you please, then what I'm going to recommend you do is combine the powers of the advanced search and the saved searches functionalities of MLS-Touch. Are you guys ready? Let's try it out together. So let's all do the same search just to make sure that everybody follows along and we end up with the same results. You can always delete your saved search and create your own later if you'd like. But so first of all, use the advanced search to execute your search once. So press the advanced search and then punch in the criteria you want. So in this case, let's say that I'm going to press the area and choose I don't know which one I want to use. Let's say Leeward. Okay, boom. Okay, next. Let's say I only want the sales. I don't want the rentals. So I'm going to go see there's a sale/rental field. Press on that. And then you'll be able to only select sales. Next, let's say I'm interested only in looking at the 2 bedrooms. And I don't care about pendings. I only want to know about full-blown active listings. So I'm going to press the status and remove the check mark next to pending because I only want the full-blown actives. And I don't want to see every single time all Leeward 2-bedroom condos that are active. I only want to know what's new. So with the parameter called since, I can specify a time frame. In this case, let's say that 5 days for me is too much. Let's narrow it down to 2 days. I want to know what's been going on with 2-bedroom condos in Leeward that are active within the last 2 days. So, so again, go under listing status and you should be able to just press on any choice that is selected to remove it from your selection. It should be available no matter if you're on Android or Apple devices. And then you know what, and don't forget to scroll all the way down, not necessarily for this exercise, but next time you actually use it, because there's a more criteria button that you should definitely press on and check out, because there's more search parameters than what you see at just a glance on the screen, right? You'd be missing out if you don't go check the more criteria button eventually, right? To know what kind of searches you can do. And then when you're done, launch your search, just press the search button, launch it. As long as it generates results, then you'll see the results page as you can see on my screen here. And did you notice at the bottom completely, there's a save search button? That's what I'm going to invite you to press on to then give a name to this set of criteria. I'm going to call it Leeward 2-bedroom condo, so I know what this search is about. And within the last 2 days, I want to specify that so I know what I'm looking at when I launch the search next. But for you guys, if you guys are planning on deleting this one later on, just call it test, just to speed things up. It's fine. It's for your eyes only, right? It's not going to go anywhere. It's really just to be able to recognize that set of criteria later on. Okay, I'm done naming it. I'll press OK. Boom, and there you go. That's done. Now I have what will be what I'll use as the equivalent of my hot sheet, but specifically for 2-bedroom condos in Leeward that are active that were added to the market in the last 2 days. And now from the home screen, if I go back all the way to the home screen and I go under my saved searches, here's my Leeward. I've got a bunch of other searches, but I've got my Leeward 2-bedroom condo 2 days search that I can press on to launch anytime I want to know what's been going on with those 2-bedroom condos. And I have the update save search button to at the bottom if I ever want to adjust the search parameters for this specific search. So that's the way that you should be capable of being able to pull any active listing that came up on the market or sold recently for a niche market in a pinch.
Hey, Marie, this is Ed. So we got a question here from Jean. Can we share the listing we pull on hot sheet on social media?
So we're going to touch on social media in a little bit, but keep in mind that due to just liability issues, you will be able to share listings on your Facebook page, but only if they are your listings.
Yeah, and that's
So
more
we'll
of a
talk about that
licensing
later.
issue. Yeah.
It is. So, but
So hold your social media thoughts on that.
exactly.
Can I set up a save search for each one of my clients? So I'm at a cocktail party at Diamond Head. I meet somebody that's looking for 3 bedrooms, 2 baths in Black Point or something like that. Can I set up essentially an auto email, or how does that work?
So you won't be able to set up an auto email from MLS-Touch. That's one of the only things that MLS-Touch is not designed for. It will not completely replace Matrix. One thing you could do, though, knowing that, especially at a cocktail party, that's the example that was brought up. You don't necessarily have anything to write things down, or pulling up something to write a note on your phone is not necessarily the best. What you could do is, like I just demonstrated, just show them. So just do an advanced search to punch in their criteria, right, their requirement, launch the search. You're going to want to tell them if there's anything like on the spot that could be potentially available for them, right, to keep the conversation going, get them interested in doing business with you, right? It's cool to be able to show them results immediately. And then when you launch, after launching your search, don't forget to press the save search button. So at least you'll have noted down those search parameters so that later on, if they do want to be set up in an auto email search in Matrix, you'll be able to refer back to these easily.
Gotcha. Excellent.
And then it looks like Kathy asked, I think what she's asking is how long will your advanced search stay as one of your saved searches?
So save searches remain there. Your MLS-Touch save searches, which are different than your Matrix save searches. Actually, let me just press the save searches button again. See at the top of my saved search window, I've got MLS-Touch and I've got Matrix too. So I can execute any of these searches, no matter if they were saved under Matrix or MLS-Touch. But MLS-Touch doesn't wipe these searches. They just remain there as long as you've saved them. So they don't just disappear after a while. Hopefully that clarifies things.
Perfect. Cassie, if that didn't, just let us know.
But of course, you have to make sure you press the save search button and you give it a name, right? If you don't do that, nothing will be saved, right? Just keep that in mind. You do have to like yourself save it. So anyways, there. I wanted to keep going. We're going to switch topics again. So now that we've talked about how to search, like efficiently through the MLS with a couple of cool and popular features and new features, how to get more info about the market. Now I want to talk about something else, because on top of being your mobile MLS-Touch is also there to support your business and your brand in many ways. I think I've mentioned that earlier. So now I'm going to actually dig into that part. And that's mainly with the help of two features, brand and share and the Facebook publishing tools that are both available through MLS-Touch, and more specifically under the More menu of MLS-Touch, which is in the bottom right corner. So you'll find these features there. And I want to talk about brand and share first. And you know what? Before I keep going, I want to stop. I want to switch which screen I'm sharing with you guys. So give me a quick second. I will get to it real quick because there's a few things that I won't necessarily be able to demonstrate, but I want to show you on screen. So thank you for bearing with me. Here you go. I'll share it again.
Then Marie, while you're doing that, I just want to
Yes.
reconfirm, people are able to modify their saved searches if they want to, correct? They don't have to start over from scratch?
Correct. What they need to do is press on their search to launch it. And at the bottom, instead of having the save search button, they'll have the update save search button, so they can revisit the criteria they had previously set and tweak it. But if you do that, don't forget to save at the end. After executing your search would deem you updated criteria so that they are saved completely. So yes, it's possible.
Perfect, thank you.
All right, so I wanted to talk about your brand, right? And like I've mentioned, one of the two key features that you have access to when it comes to your brand is brand and share. And brand and share, well, the first thing it allows you to do is to customize the experience you offer through MLS-Touch. All you have to do is simply submit a logo and choose the colors you wish through its settings. And everything you share through MLS-Touch will be using this branding. So you're looking at, for instance, the listing details of a property when somebody's looking at it on their smartphone. And that's they're branded with blues and grays because that's my branding. I'm with the Blue Ocean Real Estate, and those are our official colors. So I do think it's really important that you do set this up immediately if you want to make sure that everything you share reflects your brand. And that's why I want to demonstrate where that's done. And hopefully all of you can follow along, or at least follow on my screen if you cannot. So I'm sorry, I keep on having to switch back and forth from one screen to another just to be able to demonstrate this clearly. So let me just bring back my phone screen. Here you go, to show you how that's done. So to set up your logo and colors, first go into the More menu to find the brand and share feature. It should be one of the buttons there. You definitely all have access to this feature, compliments of High Central MLS. So brand and share is one of the first few buttons under the More menu of your app. I already told you what brand and share is about, so let's just press the continue button because that's what these slides were supposed to be for. But I think I did a good job of explaining what it is. And here, it's with this screen here that you'll be able to upload your logo and select 3 colors so that your branding is set. One thing I want to point out, and this may prevent some of you from accomplishing this during this workshop, is that the logo needs to be in the photo album or photo gallery of your device, so to be able to pick it, to select it. So keep that in mind. You will not be able to save your branding until both your logo and colors are submitted. That's super important. And some of you are asking me, what if my logo is square, not rectangle? Well, unfortunately, I'll show you a few examples of where the logo fits. Its position is sort of like a banner, a header. So it does have to be rectangle. So if some of you, because I know Malia and a few others have said, well, I don't have a logo that's rectangle, it's square. Well, then you may need to adjust it, right? You may need to either yourself or ask somebody that you know in your surrounding that has the skills to modify your logo so that it fits as a nice rectangle. You can also contact our support team if you need assistance. We don't have a graphic design department at your disposal, but they may be able to give you hints or pointers to do this efficiently yourself if you're not too sure how to go about it. But if you do have your logo ready to go on your smartphone or tablet, then just press the select logo button at the top right. It will prompt you to access your photo album or photo gallery, and then you'll be able to pick from the images available there. And on my end, I do have a graphic designer friend that created a bunch of variations of my logo. And just as a pick me up, I think I'm going to switch to my Christmas version of my logo because I think we do need a pick me up lately. So here you go. And for those of you who are wondering what's the exact recommended size, well, it actually tells you on this particular screen. Maybe some of you will ask a graphic designer friend or a partner to create you a logo that fits correctly. Well, the size is 400 by 100 pixels. You can see it on that screen here. And one thing though, you still have the means, even if you're not able to change your logo, of maybe tweaking the existing one you have access to. Use your fingers to zoom in or zoom out, right? To make your picture bigger or smaller. And as long as it fits in the rectangle, or what matters fits in the rectangle, that's all that matters. Keep in mind that anything that's outside of that rectangle in the center, let me just move my image aside just to make it clearer. Anything outside of that rectangle will be cut off. So keep that in mind. Anyways, okay, there you go. So mine, I did it on purpose. It's perfect size. So I'm just going to press done. And there you go. My new logo's set. And for colors, we'll just press the colored circles and use the color selection tool that's there at your disposal to land on the perfect color you desire. Like in my case, maybe I'll change the dark blue to something a bit blue, more bluish and less dark. Here you go, done. And don't forget to press the apply colors and logo button that's at the bottom, because that's the way to save. If you don't press on that button, your selection will be lost if you leave and it's not saved. So keep that in mind again. And like I've mentioned earlier, I want to repeat it just because I know some of you may encounter that issue. You need to have both the logo and colors set for you to be able to save. If you're missing either of them, you will not be able to save and take advantage of that branding. So so knowing that, some of you may need to set this up later if you don't have your logo. So anyways, there. So that's your branding. So and you know what? There's another thing that might be important for you to do as well, and it's to make sure that your contact details and your agent photo are up to date on the MLS. Because anytime you send out something through MLS-Touch, you'll be clearly identified. Not only will it use the branding that we've just talked about, but it will also go. It will also add your contact details and your agent photo as they show in the roster of the High Central MLS. One easy way to check if your contact details and your photo are up to date through MLS-Touch is the following. I'm encouraging you again to follow along, just so that you can check right now with me if your contact details are up to date. The easiest way is to just look yourself up in the members directory through the members directory feature of MLS-Touch, which can also be found under the More menu. So I'm going back under the More menu in the bottom right. And next I'm going to choose Find Member. And I'm not an official High Central member, so I'm not going to look myself up, but you guys are. So just use the search bar at the top and type in your name. In my case, I'm just going to pull up a random agent here. Douglas Smith, are you among us? If so, we're looking you up on my screen anyways. So look yourself up, press on your name, and verify that your contact details and your photo are there. That's the best way to test this. And if you notice that your contact details or photo are not up to date, then and hopefully Ed, Michael, and Jennifer can confirm, do not hesitate to contact your MLS so they can assist you, since these items are pulled from your MLS directly.
That's right. So those come from your, so make sure you update your profiles, and we'll make sure that those get to MLS-Touch. And I just want to underscore, this seems like a little thing when you think about all the technology that goes into mapping and picking your logo and all this other stuff. But sometimes being able to find Doug Smith's, contact information, his mobile phone right there, that can be the difference between getting the deal and losing the deal. So, I don't mean to cast aspersions on Doug specifically. I'm just saying when you're looking for another agent, being able to find them is a big deal. We have a couple questions in the chat box. Is now a good time to ask them, Marie?
Yes, for sure.
Okay. So what if your logo is square, not rectangular? I heard you say enlist the help of a partner or graphic design friend to help you kind of get those dimensions right. I use a product called GIMP, which is a free openware Windows-based software. Your Windows or your Mac machine can do something similar. And again, I'd ask that you work with them on doing all that.
And by the way, just to touch back on that though, I mean, you can still submit a square logo, but keep in mind that again, of the space, it's going to be that's reserved for the logo. It's sort of like a banner, so it will resize your logo to the point where it may be a bit too small, right, to make as much of an impact as if it was a full-on rectangle image, right? It will resize it. It won't necessarily be the best, but you can still, like for instance, submit your logo, even if it's a square one, submit it anyways, Malia, because I think it was Malia that asked that question. And later on, if you do end up being able to rework your logo to have like a rectangle version of it, then you can easily replace it. This branding is not set in stone. It can be updated whenever you want, as often as you want. Of course, make sure to comply with the rules and regulations when it comes to branding that your brokerage has you following. But that's the beauty of MLS-Touch, right? You can, even if you change brokerage, right, you can just quickly update your branding and then you're good to go, right? Everybody still knows who you are, and everything is updated.
Still on the branding bandwagon here, Marie. Ava asks, is there a way to put in a color code? So, we use the hex or whatever in the web world. Is there a place to put in the hex code for a color?
So at the moment, because we are following the basic framework of how Apple apps and Android apps work and their standards, right now there is a way for Apple users. If I go back to more and then Brand and Share and just go all the way to where we can select our colors here. I'm on an iPhone, that's why I can demonstrate. Whenever you're pressing one of those colored circles, see at the top, and again, that's only on iPhone, iPads, and iPods, anything that's Apple. See, there's two choices, wheel and then RGB. So you'd be able to switch to RGB and then enter the 3 numbers that correspond with the RGB code that is related to the color you would like to have.
I was going to say, I'm a little lazy as well. What I might do is upload my logo and then use the eyedropper. I've helped a client with that. Upload your logo and then use the eyedropper to kind of grab those colors and move around from there. Because typically, aesthetically, you might want to pick those up. Right?
Yeah, the more precise you are and the fastest you can get to your color, the better. We have in our backlog we will try to add this to Android devices as well, if possible, whenever we can. So thanks for bearing with us, Android users. But you still have the means of selecting your color, even if it's not as precise at the moment. So don't let it stop you from setting your brand, right? Because that's definitely super important. Okay. And next, what I want to do, and now I think it was Terry. Terry, you still with us? Now I want us to test this out. Well, that's going to be valuable for those of you who did get a chance to follow along by setting up their branding and you verified that your contact details were okay and everything was good. Now, let me show you how to send yourself a listing so that you can see firsthand how your branding, right, and your contact details will be used when sharing something. That's one way of sharing something through MLS-Touch. So remember, I made you add a property to your favorites later. Did everybody do that? If so, well, let's go to our favorites. So let's go back to the home screen, press the My Favorites button. You should have at least a listing there, if not multiple. So that if you've added a bunch of properties to your favorites without me. And what we're going to do, we're going to send it to ourselves by email. So remember to take action. Where do we go? We go under the action menu in the top right corner. So let's go there right now. I mean, I suggest that you send it to yourself by email, but if you'd rather send it to yourself by text message, go ahead. In my case, I'm going to send it to myself by email. Then we're going to have to pick which listing we're going to send. So pick one, two. If you only have one, just pick one. In my case, I'm just going to pick this one and press the done button.
And forward the email that Paul sent to you with the today's contact list.
Oops, sorry, that wasn't me. I'm back. I don't know who that was. But so next, I chose to send it by email to someone. I'm going to send it to myself, and I don't have myself in my contacts. I'm just going to punch in my email address right here. But if you were going to send it to somebody, then what you can do is just press that little plus button on the right-hand side of the to field and pick from the contacts that you already have in MLS-Touch, which, just to remind you, since you benefit from matrix integrations like the contact sync, your matrix contacts are all there. So that's a major plus because you don't have to do that data entry all over again. But after you've decided who you're sending it to, in my case, again, I've just punched in my own email address, just press the send button and send it out. And then you'll see firsthand what the listings are going to look like, right? That's one of the things you can share through MLS-Touch that will take in consideration the branding you've set and the contact details that are available on the MLS under your name, including your agent photo if you have one uploaded. So it's as easy as that. And you can send multiple listings by email or text message. So Terry, I think you were asking about that. So as soon as you're looking at a list of results, think about, what am I trying to do? I'm trying to take action. So if I'm trying to take action, go press the action button, the action menu, which is always in the top right corner if actions are available. So so there you go. So Terry, now you've got your answer. Thank you for your patience. I know I made you wait quite a while for it. Okay, but I'd like to keep revisiting brand and share a little bit because there's more to it than simply branding. That's why it's called brand and share. So brand and share also allows you to share what we call the companion app or branded app that comes with MLS-Touch. And this companion or branded app, I'm gonna call it branded app for the rest of the workshop because that's the main way I call it anyways. So this branded app that comes with MLS-Touch, it's actually designed not for you, it's designed for your clients. And again, I'm gonna have to stop sharing and switch to my slides here. Thank you for bearing with me. I know it's a little bit clunky, but we'll get there. So here you go. That's what I wanted to share. So there. So so this is an example of, this is actually my branded app. That's what my branded app looks like. Actually, that logo at the top though is different because it has my colleague's photo next to it. I had a logo designed with my colleague's photo on it earlier this year. That's what this screenshot's about. But basically, this app, by sharing this app with your clients, you'll be providing them with the mobile experience they deserve when searching for properties on their own, on a mobile device. It's basically the version of MLS-Touch that's designed for your clients. It will give them access to all active listings on the market, not just some or most, like other alternatives they have right now at their disposal. But the beauty of this app that lets them look up properties on their own is that it also acts like the mobile version of the Matrix client portal. So when they press the My Favorites button, they'll pull their favorites, possibilities, and discarded that they put aside from both the client portal and your branded app. That's cool, right? So MLS-Touch is your mobile, MLS is your mobile version to Matrix. And this branded app that you could provide them is the mobile version of the Matrix client portal that they may already be using. That's cool, right? Plus, it's a great engagement tool because anytime you suggest listing, you send listings to them from Matrix or MLS-Touch, as long as you pick them from your list of contacts, well, they'll be pushed as suggestions to the branded app they use and their client portal. So they can choose which tool they use. They could use either of them or both, depending on which device they're more comfortable working on. And you'll get even more visibility on their properties of interests, like their favorites or discards, because MLS-Touch will notify you right away as long as you have its notifications turned on. I know a lot of us don't like apps to notify us if it's not needed, but the notifications from MLS-Touch, they're priceless because you'll know immediately if a client of yours added a property to their favorites, and that way you don't have to wait for them to get to reach out to you or have to keep an eye on their favorites yourself all the time. MLS-Touch will let you know as soon as potentially there's an opportunity for you to take action. And on top of that, it does include an in-app messaging feature that you can use to chat with them to discuss and collaborate on properties of interest. It's never been easier. I'm not going to elaborate too much on the branded app today. We do have an exclusive free webinar that we offer regularly on that topic, which I'll link to you. I'll link you to the registration page before we're done here today. But I at least want you to view a preview of your branded app. And I also want to show you how to start sharing it right after, if you do decide to provide it to your clients. So yet again, I'm going to stop sharing my PowerPoint presentation and we'll go back to my smartphone and I'll demonstrate live what I'm talking about. Here you go. So, so we're revisiting brand and share, right? Because that's the second part of brand and share. So let's go back to brand and share. So go in under more, brand and share, then continue. And what I didn't talk about, and this is only accessible after you've saved your branding. So you have to have your logo and colors saved. That's super important. I know I keep insisting on that, but because that would be a blocker for you if you want to take advantage of what I've just discussed. So after selecting your colors and your logo, see the preview button? It's a white button sort of in the bottom right. Press on it and you'll be able to view how your branding will affect certain things, including your branded app, if you ever decide to take advantage of it and share it with your clients. So I do encourage you, go under more, brand and share, get to this screen, click on the preview button, and then press the view my branded app. And then you'll see what it's going to look like. So see, now my app is going to look like that with my new Christmas logo and the colors I picked. So it sort of looks a bit different than the screenshot I showed you earlier. But that's because my branding has changed. So you now know what your branded app will look like after setting up your branding. You can easily test it out that way. And if you do decide to provide this app to your clients, well, you're going to have to tell them about it. And the easiest way to tell them about it is by pressing the Share My App button, that green button at the bottom. And you can easily just use the send by SMS or send by email buttons to send it to someone in a flash. But you know what? I'm definitely going to encourage you to share it with everybody you know, not one by one, right? Because that's a lot of work. And I mean, I wouldn't want you to work harder than you have to. What you could easily do, and you know what? If you are able to press the Share My App button and get to this screen, send it to yourself. That way you will receive the installation link that you can just tap on to go through the installation process of your own branded app. I do encourage you to try it out before you start sending it to your clients, right? So you have firsthand experience on how that process works and what your branded app feels like and how it functions. But not only that, you'll then be able to copy that link, that unique link that's tied to your branded app, and then paste it somewhere else, copy it somewhere else to include it, I don't know, like to include it in your email signature so that anytime you email someone, they're reminded that you have a branded app, and maybe add a call to action to encourage them to click on the link and install your app. I don't know if you have a Christmas mailer that you're preparing for the holidays. I say Christmas, but anyway, something for the holidays. Maybe include that link. It might be a nice little extra Christmas gift. Here's another way and more efficient way of looking at properties, and encourage them to pass it along, because anybody new that installs your app will come in as a new lead. So if you send it to all your active buyers, let's say, and then you tell your active buyers, hey, if you know friends, family members, coworkers that could also benefit from my app, just forward them the email, forward them the text message or the link. And that could snowball for you, right? Because those individuals that you don't necessarily know at all could come in as new leads in your MLS-Touch application. Anybody new that installs your app will come in like that. You know what, when you test it out, you'll see, because you'll launch the app. It's going to ask you to enter your contact details. Do it yourself. Go through the hoops yourself, and you'll see yourself come in as a new lead in your MLS-Touch application. You'll even be notified so that you know a new lead came in. And just to show you, new leads come in through your MLS-Touch contacts. So at the bottom under the contacts button, and if you follow the red dots, some of them may lead you to your list of leads. So, and that's where all the new individuals that installed your app will show up. And as soon as you accept these leads, they'll be added automatically to your contacts. And since you benefit from the matrix integrations, the advanced matrix integrations that MLS-Touch has to offer, well, those new leads will also show up in matrix. How cool is that, right? Again, less data entry is better, isn't it? So basically these new potential clients would do the data entry for you, which is cool. So, so I do encourage you to try this out. And if you do want more info about this branded app, again, I'm going to link you to the registration page for our free webinar on that topic that's taking place in not too long from now. So there. So I do encourage you, like, you know what, let me actually do it. So go under brand and share. I'm just going to go back to brand and share, press the share my app button, and send it to yourself by email. And you don't necessarily have to do anything with it right now, but later on when we're done here today, when you do have time, just go find that email that you just sent yourself and go install your app. Try it out. You'll see it's pretty cool. Oh no, I didn't type my right email address. Anyways, if you type your email address correctly, it'll send. I just made a typo in my email address. It didn't work, but send it to yourself and you'll be able to experience firsthand what your clients will experience when they install your app. You'll see, you won't regret it. It's really cool. Okay, now we're done covering brand and share. Now I want to talk about social marketing. So, and more specifically, about the Facebook publishing tool that you have access to with MLS-Touch. And this feature will benefit those of you who have a Facebook page for their business. So you know what, let me ask you this. Who's got a Facebook page or plan on creating one shortly? Let us know, through the chat, because that's for you guys. This feature is definitely for you guys.
And then Marie, Terry also asked if the clients need to set up their search parameters or if the realtor can set it up for them.
So again, and I apologize if it wasn't clear. This has nothing to do with an auto email search or anything like that. This is just a means for them to search on the MLS on their own, right? Just just search real quick something or what's new. It doesn't replace the auto email you would set up for them in Matrix. They don't have access to that through your branded app. All they have access to is well, let me just go preview my app real quick. You guys don't have to follow along. Let me just preview my app just to show you real quick what options they have in your own branded app. Right? They can do a map search, they can do an advanced search, they can save set of criterias with the advanced search and then execute them with the save searches. I've demonstrated that, right? They can pull their favorites, possibilities discarded and manage them. They can do searches by MLS number. They can pull up your contact details, and the message button in the bottom right, that's what they can press on to chat with you with the in-app chat message. But and they have Instaview, which is cool, right? Because that's super useful for your clients as well, right? Being able to, if they walk around the neighborhood that they're interested in, to just pull instantly the listing details of the property they're interested in. But that's basically it. The beauty of the branded app, though, is that only your contact details are available, no one else's, which is going to be beneficial to you, right? Or us, right, as real estate professionals, because there's less of a chance that they'll easily be able to find the contact details of a listing agent or another agent and maybe go around us, right? So if they use your branded app, you're their single only point of contact through this app, which is not the case if they use an alternative, right? Like Zillow, Trulia, or Realtors.com or something else. So hopefully that clears things up. I think it does. Okay, let's keep on going. So I wanted to talk about the Facebook publishing tool. And yet again, I'm going to have to stop sharing my screen just to give you quickly a few examples of what this Facebook publishing tool is all about. I actually have 2 examples of Facebook pages that already have our Facebook publishing tool set up so that you have firsthand, like you can visually see what this feature allows or provides you. So as you can see here, this is one example of a Facebook page that's benefiting from the Facebook publishing tool of MLS-Touch. And if I scroll down just a little bit, well, I pulled up something that was posted in September here on Jeff's page. But if I go to another page here of another of our users, this is a new listing that, again, was published automatically by the Facebook publishing tool that comes with MLS-Touch for this agent. Basically, what this tool does when activated is it will keep an eye on the MLS to check if there's anything relevant to announce about your listings. And it will promote your listings throughout their life cycle if there's something to announce, like if you've got a new listing that just got added to the MLS, it will post it, like this one here. If you drop the price of one of your listings, a price reduction publication will be made in your behalf. If one of your listings switches to sold, right? Switches to the sold status, it will post a recently sold publication. And same goes if you add an open house to the MLS on one of your listings, it will detect it and publish an announcement on your behalf about that as well. And it will take your branding in consideration as long as you have it set up. But yes, it definitely needs to be set up on a Facebook page. If you do not have a Facebook page, you only have a profile, unfortunately, you will not be able to benefit from this tool. And just so you know, it's not because we don't want you to publish your listings on your Facebook profile. It's actually because Facebook considers it breaking its rules and regulations, its terms of service. You're not supposed to use a profile for commercial gains. And technically, if we're promoting our listings, it's eventually to sell it and make money. So that's considered a commercial gain activity. So keep that in mind. That's the reason why you cannot with our tool. That's really just because we want to keep you safe. We wouldn't want Facebook to suspend you or ban you because you did something wrong. That goes against our terms of service. But anyways, so going back, what's really great is not only will it just publish these automatically, but if any potential buyers are interested in these listings, they could click on them to view the full listing details, which will also be branded. And you know what? These also act as lead generators in a sense, because if anyone pulls up, the listing details of one of your listings that was published and clicks on the information request button just below your contact details and fills in the blanks and clicks on send, they'll also come in as a new lead in MLS-Touch. That's pretty cool too, right? So anybody that contacts you this way will come in as a new lead. And of course, just having visibility, a bit more visibility on your listings may generate you more business, right? Because maybe a buyer may not necessarily be interested in this property, but may see it and want to reach out to you, right? Either by private message or through the comments. So it's going to be to your advantage to just increase the visibility of your listings. And this is one easy way to go about it. So now, how do you go about it? Well, I want to show you that next. That's actually what I'm going to finish with. So Michael, hopefully I'm within the times that we had, because that's the last feature I want to demonstrate here today. So let me just pull up my smartphone and show you that last way of getting the most out of MLS-Touch. So of course, make sure you have your Facebook page ready to go, right? I know some of you have already told us that you have a Facebook page. That's great. And then to activate the Facebook publishing tool, press the More button, and then press the Facebook publishing tool button, which should be under your More menu, which would be really close to brand and share. And you'll be guided through the process of activating the feature. The first thing it's going to ask you is to connect your MLS-Touch app with your Facebook account. MLS-Touch needs your permission to be able to publish anything on your behalf. So press the connect button. It may ask you to sign into Facebook. I think I'm already signed in because I was on Facebook earlier on my phone anyways. Oh yeah, I am. If you did not, you were not signed in recently on your phone, it may ask you to enter your Facebook username and password. That's normal. You'll have to do this to proceed. But in my case, I was still logged in, so I'm just going to continue as myself. Next, due to the fact that some of us have more than just one Facebook business page, which is not necessarily about real estate, next you're going to have to decide from your list of Facebook pages that it will display which page you want to give access to MLS-Touch. In my case, I've got a bunch of Facebook pages. Only one has to do with my real estate business because I have others for my hobbies, my little workshop thing on the side, etc. So I'm just going to select the page that has to do with my real estate business because that's the only place where I want my listings to be published. For most of you, you may only have one, and it will be your real estate business page. So just select it and then press on next. And then one last thing it's going to ask you is to give it permission to do its job. Make sure all of these items are turned on. They should be turned on automatically, and then press done. And you know what? That's it. You've now linked MLS-Touch to your Facebook account, and it's just going to confirm that everything is ready to go. So you can save everything. It will congratulate you when you've accomplished this. And then it's going to land you on this page here where, if you want, you're not obligated to, but I highly recommend it. You can give your personal touch to the publications that it will make in your behalf. Because there's 4 types of publications, right, that it can make in your behalf: new listings, price reductions, recently sold or leased, and open houses. You see them listed, right? Post on my page when. So press on, if you want to customize these, press on them. And under post text, right over here, just make sure that it says whatever you want. This is the text that will accompany the publication whenever it's published. So, and I do encourage you to add your personal touch here, because what's there by default is very dry, in my opinion, and doesn't really have any tone or personal touch at all. So you can use emojis, you can use hashtags, you can delete everything that's there and just write whatever you want. it's really up to you to decide. I mean, if you don't do that, it's okay, but people may, I mean, it's going to seem a little dry, and it's obvious that you didn't necessarily like add your personal touch to it. So do that. Save if you've made any modifications. Make sure that at the bottom, the personalize with Brandon share is turned on. It should be turned on by default, but that's what will ensure that your branding, right, your logo and colors will be used to customize those publications. And you know what? That's it. That's it. From this moment on, MLS-Touch will start keeping an eye on anything that is relevant to announce, any new listing, price deductions, recently sold or leased, or open house. That's pretty cool, right? So it's as easy as that to turn on and take advantage of. So these are just a few of the incredible features that MLS-Touch has to offer. I didn't necessarily get a chance to show them all to you. This was a workshop setting. I wanted to focus on what was most important for you to know to take full advantage right now of this app. But please note that we do have several webinars that you can benefit from. I'm actually going to just show you real quick my screen yet again. Here you go. So you can go on MLS-Touch.com and or on our Facebook page, facebook.com/MLS-Touch, to know more about our product and tap into our webinar live or on demand schedule. And just so you guys know, and this might be news for everybody here, even Michael, Edward, Jennifer, we do have Facebook Lives every Wednesday at 3 p.m. on MLS-Touch. There was one at the same time as this workshop, but don't hesitate to go on our Facebook page anyways and go under our videos. All our Facebook Lives, which are usually 15 minutes or less, are available under our videos on demand whenever you want. So anyways, there. And I will link you in a little bit to our webinar on the branded app for those of you who are interested. So yes, that was it for me.
I was going to ask, we have a couple, I think we have one open question, but I had a question. Did you touch on Realist?
Yes.
And the integration, the recent integration that you all rolled out there?
Yes, that was part of the that was at the beginning of our workshop, so make sure to go check the recording as if you guys missed it. We talked about the smart search bar, which allows you to jump to locations in various ways, including points of interest. And we did talk about the new parcel lines and realist tax data available through the map search. Those are the new features that you guys benefit from. So if you missed it, yeah, it's going to be available in the recording of this session.